stuck here. The cops won't bother me. First crash.
Hey squids, I want to talk to you guys about group riding. And I know it seems fun, especially in the beginning if you're learning how to ride, to go out there with 5 of your best buds that got you into riding and riding around. But I want to tell you a little bit about group riding. It's probably one of the more dangerous things you can do, especially if you're new to riding. What generally happens is that somebody will get a motorcycle and they'll join a group online who, let's just call it Maryland Sport Bikers, and they'll go on a group ride, not realizing what they're signing up for. A lot of times group riding, it seems safe, and it is safe for people who have some experience, but I would not recommend it for new riders. Generally what happens is there's a little bit of a competition thing happening that nobody ever like tells you. It's kind of like a hidden sort of thing. You do feel compelled to keep up, and if you're a male, you're like attached to your ego a little bit, as much as you want to deny it. So even though you wouldn't, in a way, it's almost like being a teenage boy. A teenage boy by himself, they're not going to be too dangerous, you know, they're not going to be setting mailboxes on fire. They're not going to be like punching random people. But you get a group of teenagers, they'll do all sorts of things that normally they wouldn't do alone. And they would do things that they just would never like be able to do. Like, I mean, haven't you heard of like teenagers like going out on shooting sprees and beating people up and setting animals on fire? It's really not that the teenager is evil. It's that in a group we tend to try to impress one another. Like, we want to be known as somebody who rides really well. It's the same thing with group riding. It's like we are so attached to our ego, and we want to tell that group that we are good riders, that we're fast, that we're strong. It's the same thing in sports, everything. So you're fighting your instincts a little bit. So in a group ride, what happens is that you'll go out and the group leader will set a pace, and generally it's a good pace. You know, he's not going too fast, but he's going fast enough for everybody to have fun. And the slower riders will go in the back. I think that's a little bit of a hard thing, because what happens is that even though the slower riders are in the back, they're not seeing what the leader is doing because they're too far out. So oftentimes riders in the back are riding faster to keep up with the leader, and that's when accidents happen. They also don't have a gauge of having a rider in front of them to show them like good lines through corners and taking good speed. So oftentimes they're going to be going into a corner without a lot of experience and going too fast and not being able to control their speed in the corner. I think the best thing for a beginner in a group ride is to ride with 1 or 2 other people who know your skill level. I hate to say it, women riders are the worst. Oftentimes they're trying to tell riders that they're like just one of the guys, and they kind of exaggerate what a guy would do. So I had this one woman who, she was into riding, but she was very terrible at riding, but she had quite a bit of ego on her. So she would go like, yeah, let's bomb some corners, and she referred to going around corners as bombing, but she was really bad because she couldn't really go around corners very well. And oftentimes I would look in my mirrors and see that she would be over the double yellow lane. And for me, I have this thing, it's like, if you cross the double yellow on a turn, I look at that as a crash. And it seems like she was being like macho for the sake of macho, because she thought that that's the way guys behave. But most guys don't do that. I've ridden with women who are really good riders. Also, there's one thing that happens is that men in a group, and it's got like a 1 or 2 women, they try to impress them quite a bit because they want to sleep with them. And oftentimes women are like 2s in the scale of 1 to 10, but if they're the only woman available, they instantly become like 10s. And I think that's why a lot of women ride, is so they can feel hot, even though that a lot of them are not. Oh, that rhymed. So a woman that's a 2 riding a motorcycle is like a 10. I rode with her to like Tennessee, and it's kind of funny because it was such a shitty day in Tennessee, in Deals Gap, and it was such a wet day, and like I was going extremely slow because it's twisty and wet, but she wanted to go faster, and I saw that she really was trying too hard to impress us. It almost felt like she was very pathetic. Good thing I don't ride with her anymore, because I don't want her to think that I think of her as pathetic, but the way her attitude was kind of lame. To me, riding a motorcycle is not about riding a motorcycle fast, but riding it well. For me, it's not just going around corners. It's about being able to go around corners and being able to predict if anything is going to be happening. Like this bird over here, this turkey vulture. Like, you need to slow down for it because I'm thinking that it's going to fly in front of me. So I hit the brakes. It's about making like little judgments. I'm not interested in getting hurt. Motorcycling does not have to be dangerous. Don't try to impress anybody. I think that's what I want to tell you guys. If you're in a group ride, try to avoid your instincts of trying to fit into a group. It's not worth it. If you get hurt, and you could get seriously hurt on a motorcycle, there's no prize that's going to be awarded at the end, and most likely this group that you're trying to impress, they're not going to be around much longer. It's like motorcycle guys go from groups to groups, and they get older and slower, and a lot of them crash and get hurt. You don't want to be hurt. There's no point of getting hurt in order to impress someone. Alright, Squids, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe.